It's now been 20 years since the first Harry Potter novel has been published, and you've probably noticed that it's been coming back in a pretty big way with multiple licenses and themes, including LEGO Harry Potter sets with an all-new collectible minifigure line. And as a big fan of Harry Potter, LEGO itself, and the first series, I thought it was time for LEGO Harry Potter Collectible Minifigure Series 2. Last year's series introduced many different pieces and bringing fan-favorite characters back to LEGO form. With this series, I'm going to be focusing on the ones that weren't introduced, but also different variants of figures that were in the last series. However, I will not be focusing on many characters that were in the LEGO sets or the Bricktober packs. Remus Lupin, and yes, I already know that there was a minifigure of him in last year's Hogwarts Express set. However, for the collectible minifigure series, I'd like to have a figure of him in his werewolf form. LEGO is known for doing their werewolves every other series, and we did get a hint of him being a werewolf on the minifigure. And it's long overdue that we got a new Werewolf Lupin figure after the last one. Seamus Finnigan. And yes, just like Lupin, I know that we had a figure of him in the Whomping Willow set. However, the figure of him really didn't do him any justice. Seamus is known for one thing, and that's for how much he makes explosions, whether on purpose or not. So for the figure, I think that he should look like he was in an explosion, with blasted back hair covered in ash and soot, in his Gryffindor robes and such. Ginny Weasley. Back when they redid the LEGO Harry Potter sets, I thought they were going to do a Ginny Weasley right off the get-go. However, this wasn't the case. We have not received a new Ginny figure in some time. For the new Ginny figure, I see her with either the old Ginny hairpiece, which would be a nice throwback to the old sets, or a newer piece. Tom Riddle. Last year's series had Voldemort, but we can't just redo him, so let's go with Tom Riddle, his Mudblood form. Am I allowed to say that? As far as I know, there is no official Tom Riddle figure, except for in the LEGO Harry Potter video games, and it was okay for that time, but it's outdated to our current standards. For this Tom Riddle figure, I picture him in the appearance he had in Chamber of Secrets, with the new Superman hairpiece that we've gotten in the last few years. Lavender Brown. Much like the Tom Riddle figure, we've never had an official Lavender Brown minifigure, except for in the LEGO Harry Potter video game series. And for a bigger role she had in her one appearance, it was pretty significant, and I think it deserves a minifigure. For the figure, I see her in her casual wear that she made her big appearance in. Susan Bones. We have had a Susan Bones figure this last year, but the figure was kind of lackluster. It just looked like every other figure, with a different color scheme. However, we kinda need the Hufflepuff robes. You know, because just in case, if you get more than one, you have an opportunity to build more Hufflepuff students. Nymphadora Tonks. Tonks hasn't had an official figure as of yet, but we have had her adaptation in the LEGO Harry Potter video game series, and that figure to me looks spot on and perfect, but it needs a different hairpiece. Personally, I think that the nurse hairpiece we had in the collectible minifigure series would work great if it was in pink or dark purple. Peter Pettigrew, or Wormtail. Wormtail has had one figure, and it didn't really look too great. That's the time when they tried to make their figures look more realistic, and it wasn't the best decision they have had. Wormtail's appearance, in my opinion, should be based off of The Prisoner of Azkaban. That's where he made his first, well, human appearance. He used to be Scabbers, which should probably be his accessory. For Wormtail's hairpiece, I think the Beast Boy / elf hairpiece would be the best, the one with the pointy ears. It will give more of an individual feel instead of the regular hairpieces that we've had. Fenrir Greyback. Greyback has had an official figure, and to me, that figure is perfect. If anything, I'd say just reprint it. However, we can't do that, 'cause reasons. So I think adding some leg printing and possibly arm printing would be an improvement. Maybe even a different hairpiece, I'm not sure. Professor Sprout. Sprout has had an official figure, and like Greyback, it's time for an improvement, or update. So far, the last figure was pretty much the idea I want to go for, and probably most of you want to go for too. But maybe a different hat-hair combo that they could do this time. Vincent Crabbe and Gregory Goyle. There's been Crabbe and Goyle figures in the past, yes, and they look pretty okay. However, they have the same usual torso that's kind of like the ones we have now. So this time, I think it's time to go for the vest look. For Goyle's hairpiece, I'm thinking the Finn hairpiece from the Star Wars line, or the Falcon hairpiece if you don't know who Finn is. For Crabbe, I'm thinking Emmett's hairpiece, but probably in either dark brown or black even. Draco Malfoy. Last year's Draco was pretty good, and the only issue I have with it is that he's always in the Quidditch outfit. For this year's, I think he should be in the Slytherin robes, where he's either in the vest or his tie is showing, like in Prisoner of Azkaban. For the hairpiece, it should either be Lloyd's hairpiece from the Lego Ninjago movie line, or Vacation Garmadon from the same line. I think the Garmadon hairpiece would work better in this adaptation, but maybe the Lloyd hairpiece would work better in possible future sets. Moaning Myrtle. Now, Moaning Myrtle has never had an official figure. So far, she's only had her video game debut and the backdrop in the Hogwarts sets, but that's about it. I think it's time that Moaning Myrtle should have her own figure. Now, you can't have a LEGO Harry Potter collectible minifigure series without Harry, Ron, and Hermione. So, with this collectible minifigure series, most people would argue that Goblet of Fire outfits would be the best, but to blend in with the rest of the figures, I think that Prisoner of Azkaban would be the better choices. Harry would come with his casual wear jacket that he had at the beginning of the film, Ron would be wearing his gray and red sweater, and Hermione would be wearing her pink sweater with possibly a time turner design. Well, let me know how this CMF series for LEGO Harry Potter went. No, I haven't posted anything in a very long time. I just got a new computer, and obviously you could tell I haven't gotten a mic or anything, but I'm trying to get back out there, so if you like my content, please like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what you want me to do in the future. Thanks again for watching, and see you next time.
Can you imagine the look on McGonagall's face if we were late?
Perhaps it would be more useful if I were to transfigure Mr. Potter and yourself into a pocket watch.